Okay, so as ethical hackers, you are not going to get very far without the ability to wrap applications together, to combine two or more programs into a single file. Now, we combine a legitimate software with one or more pieces of malware. Now, an older wrapping tool was called Elite Wrap, which has been used many times with Windows XP in order to combine systems together so that hackers could quietly install a malicious piece of software in the background. Now, there are other tools available for this purpose. A few other examples are IZPack, which is used to package Java applications, and we also have CennaSpy and FileJoiner, all of which function fine as a basic wrapper. Okay, so we've been talking about Trojans used in the industry today, and now we need to take a look at how we can create a Trojan rather than just sending them a virus or a backdoor that could easily be spotted. We are going to take a look at a very well-known Trojan called Zeus. This is one that is easily spotted by users. It is said that this particular Trojan was developed by a government to spy on other governments. The only thing we know is the second part is true, or not sure who did or performed the initial development. All right, so here we have Zeus. We got a Zeus bot and the Internet Explorer executable that I just downloaded from the internet as an update. All right, we also have this application called Advanced File Joiner. Now, like we talked about earlier, we've seen how an actual Trojan has been built into the ability, has built into itself the ability to bind another file, whether it be a document or a video file. Now, there are many Trojans that do not have the same capability, so we have to use a third-party tool in order to wrap it or combine everything together into a legitimate program or file with our Trojan. So go ahead and enter this directory. You can start this program. It's called FileJoiner again. This program is fairly simple. You can see here at the bottom we can add the file, so we just simply click on Select File. I'm going to choose Zeus, and notice off to the right here with each one of these files that we have to choose whether or not this is going to be an executable file, if this file is going to be executed. So this is very important because this gives us the capability of making it look like something is being installed when it really isn't, or something that they're not aware of is being installed in their background. I'm going to simply add Zeus and the Internet Explorer executable here. Now, of course, you can choose any program that you want. We just grabbed Internet Explorer for our purposes. Now, that is an executable as well, and we want to install it, so we're going to choose to execute this. Now, if you recall, in the other demonstration we showed you on Dark Comet, when you perform the executable, it gave you an error message. Now, we could have chosen to use information or another option, but we chose the error message. It's ubiquitous, everybody's seen it. So we don't necessarily want that to happen right now, however. So that is why we can join another executable to this. Both of these files would be installed, one being legitimate, and the second, well, let's just say it's not going to be quite as nice. So that is why I have chose both of them to execute, so that the user has absolutely no suspicion at all. At least that's the hope. Now, I am going to click on the tab Anti-Debugging because I am convinced that the normal version of Zeus will be easily found by all antivirus software. With this debugging capability, we can mutate the virus slightly so that it does not run inside of a virtual machine or sandbox. Now, one item we really need to take note of: do not select all of them because your code will never run correctly, or if at all. That is just too much for this simple free program to figure out on its own. So now I was getting click on deselect, but it is not allowing me to deselect all of them, so I have to go through and click on each one of them to remove the options. So bear with me as we go through. We're going to remove each one of these. Now, it is interesting that they would allow you to select all knowing that it will not work. Kind of cool, huh? Right? So keep in mind that this is a hacking tool, and hacking tools are free. They do not always work as expected, so it is vitally important to thoroughly test them prior to your implementation. I'm going to go ahead and leave just the bottom forward to help bypass some potential antivirus solutions or debugging tools. Now we can choose to compile files. We first have to select an icon. So you can even change that later on if you so choose. We will just grab this one here. We'll just get it done. Next, we choose if we want to compress the files. That depends again upon your mode of delivery. In our case, it's not necessary, so we believe we don't have to compress and then choose to find the files. We're going to have to give it a file name. We'll do that. We'll save it, and we'll put it in a location of our choice, just like any other type of program. So just so we don't have any issues or questions, we will name this Zeus IE. Now you can see that did not take really that long at all. Now we have the file that we will send across to our unsuspecting victim. We can double click on this to start it. But I want to note that the Zeus file we're utilizing is corrupted because we did not want to have any potential possibility of this spreading in our network, so we did not utilize the real program. We're taking some safeguards here. But take note that the Internet Explorer is working correctly. There is no error associated with the running of IE in this case. Now, I wanted to make sure that you understood that Trojans or malware that you download from the internet generally are not 100% functional. Yeah, big surprise there, right? In actuality, most of them have another Trojan or backdoor built into them so that you, as an unsuspecting hacker, may also be hacked. It's a never-ending chain. So this is why you will investigate the code and make necessary changes prior to using it in any type of testing environment. It is also important to take note that we are not likely to ever be allowed to test a corporate network using a Trojan, virus, or any such form of malware. Just please know, these demonstrations using these tools are simply to help you see and understand what a hacker generally goes through in order to infiltrate your system. Okay, so every computer is susceptible to this, and you do not have to use Zeus to find out if you can be hacked. You can use any piece of safe code to see if a user will download or access programs outside of your typical business computer use policy.
This particular tool called exe icon was commonly used to replace the icon of the executable you just created using the wrapper so that you would make the victim believe that the file he or she is opening is legitimate. It's a simple method to hide your malicious software from the user since it has a recognizable icon.
Right, and in addition, this particular program is out of date, but it does demonstrate the extremes that hackers will go through in order to hide their malicious software. The reason that this is out of date is that most of the tools today have the ability to change the icon while they are combining the files together into one executable, which means that this particular type of program really is no longer needed.